your boot camp? Like, how does that work?
But once COVID struck, we just knew that like we have to do something to make up for the lack of events that's coming. So we decided, you know what, we're just gonna have these boot camps several times throughout the year. Every single FNCS we had boot camp. When we signed Setty, he wasn't really a big player. He was, I don't even know, like top 50, top 60 in Europe. But I saw a player who had so much potential in him, not only just as a player, but as a brand. Every player who's come in and been a part of this regiment has had super good effect. It works out really well.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Brand Risk Podcast. I'm your host, Arab, along with my co-host, Edwin. And today we have on the founder and CEO of Become Legends, an EU Fortnite organization, which has taken a different approach to Fortnite esports with their intensive content and boot camping strategies. Unlike other organizations, BL is pumping money into their facilities to make sure their players can perform to the best of their abilities. And well, it's working. With their most recent victory in the European Grand Royale, a $300,000 championship. Congrats on that.
Thank you so much. It was the last FNCS actually. The Grand Royale, we came second place, unfortunately, but still good enough. Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here.
I thought I looked in, or was it the FNCS right before that they won?
Yeah, the 3 week before.
See, now I feel stupid.
So we won the regular one, and then we got second place in the Grand Royale, second and fourth.
Should we redo that intro, or should we let them call me stupid?
Nah, that's fine. That's fine.
You guys can call me stupid. I mean,
that's all good. All good.
So they got second in that. That was devastating.
Yeah, it was kind of damn, bro. That was a tough one because we were filming and prepared. We were kind of like, they were in a flow and we felt so confident about it. And they were like, in the end game, they took height from Tayson. It's like between Tayson and them. And Setty kills Tayson. And then Kami had floor pre-edited. He falls down, drops all the mats.
I saw that. Then, it was in the mountain at the end of the, at the edge of the zone, right?
Yeah, that is the zone. But that's just how it is. Like, I try to explain to them, you have to think about it as a Formula 1 race. You can lead 70 laps, you do one fucking mistake and it's just over. That's just a part of the game. So we just go next.
Go next. Yeah. Just like that, huh?
Just go next.
So what does Arab mean by your boot camp approach to how your players, like, you know, like, how does that work?
So I mean, I've been working in esports for 8-9 years now. I've been primarily working as an event organizer in Norway. I worked alongside some big brands like Red Bull and Blizzard Entertainment. I hosted some majors here in Norway with Hearthstone. So for me, it has always been about the physical aspect of competition that I loved, like the lawns, the experience, the vibes and everything. And I kind of wanted to. That was one of the reasons why I started BL, because I wanted to be on the player side of that. Once COVID struck, we just knew that like we have to do something to make up for the lack of events that's coming. So we decided, you know what, we're just gonna make our own little events, our little small thing, and just build a bubble with our players inside it. And we just decided to have these boot camps several times throughout the year. Every single FNCS we had boot camp. First one was like 2 weeks, then we had a 4-week one, then we had a 2.5-month one. So we've kind of been living on boot camps the last year on and off. So yeah.
Now these players, they come, not only do you have the players in your org, you have other players come with them as well. What's the science behind that?
So in general, it's been like primarily we wanted the duos or trios of the players to be able to come and have the same opportunities as our players have. And most importantly, like when we do have these boot camps, we prioritize a lot of the health aspect of the mental aspect of being a team. So nutrition, sleep schedule, so all these kind of things. And we felt like, well, if we just have our player doing this and he has a trio who just has the shittiest sleep schedule and they just have the worst lifestyles, I don't know if we can really win. We have a limitation of no matter how much we put into our player, we don't have control of the two players. So we decided, you know what, let's just let them come here, let them be a part of the team, of the vibes, like let them feel it for themselves. If they want to be a part of it, they can stay here. If they don't, they can go home. So that was the original plan. And then we kind of started getting friends in the scene, like other players. And we had this facility here in Warsaw in Poland, which is tons of space. And we're like, you know what, if some friends want to come and we have space, just let them come out, and it's going to be fun. It's good for the content. It's good for the atmosphere to have your friends nearby. So we had players outside of the team as well.
So you bring these players out. Obviously, you have yours that are signed to you, and you know you're probably you could be making your money back on their investment. How do their teammates pay, or is this fully like funded?
Well, in general, like their orgs have been paying for them in most cases. So we usually contact their org and say, hey, so for example, Teak with GXR, we contact GXR and said, hey, Teak wants to come out. Like, can you guys cover just this cost? Like, there's no other cost except for the facility stake. Like, our coaching, everything we provide is BL is just 100% free. Just we're already doing it. You're just going to be a part of it. So they only have to pay to the facilities or whatever we've been renting, like sleeping and stuff like this. Yeah.
Okay.
That's really cool, because I think that's the first time I've ever heard of a team reaching out to another team to benefit a player. You get what I mean? Like, usually teams don't really like talk to each other like that. Like, at least from
definitely. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm just going to give them credits. Actually, they reached out to us first, like sometimes in 2020, I think, and we, it was early 2021, and we, I thought it was a super interesting idea, and it looked like a cool way, and it just really worked out for all parties. So we just went along with it, and we kind of took the concept as our own, since we are the ones who are kind of there with our own staff. So it's been really cool and a great experience as well for us to meet some other teams, get to know the people behind the teams, because often you just know the logo and whatever they're communicating on social. So this way it was a good way for us to like see who's behind some of these teams, what they're working on. We got some close connections, like with the GXR team, which is a major team from the Middle East region. So it's been super cool for us to collab with them.
They have a good management. Yeah, go ahead.
Is there ever a situation where a player that is like a teammate to one of your players doesn't have an org? Like, how do they cover that? Do like their parents cover that, or like how does that work? Or are they?
We've had
on an org?
Yeah, we've had that. They just cover it themselves regularly. Like, it's like but the thing is, we got like this super good pricing and everything we've done, so it hasn't been really that expensive. Like, to give an estimate, like for one player for a month, it's been around $1,500.
That's
so
nothing.
It's fairly,
That's really cheap.
It's super cheap to like come here for a month. You have the best facilities, best internet you can have. You have literally everything, the access. Yeah. So it's been just great. Yeah.
So you're investing heavily. Your videos are amazing.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
No other org is doing it. Every time you post a video, the whole timeline goes crazy. New BL video, you know, have you seen the new BL video? You know, I remember when I was streaming Fortnite and shit, where like everyone would come and be like, "Did you see the new BL video? Watch it on stream."
Yeah, I saw it on your stream once, like people asking about it. It was pretty cool. I think you even watched one or something.
I did. And you kill it. You have good cinematography.
Thank you so much.
You have the good storytelling. These videos that you do, you don't just film them over a week or a day. Sometimes they're months.
Oh, definitely not. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it's a huge process. No, it's a huge process. It takes a lot of time. Like, it's me and one other guy who basically do everything content-wise. That was one of the reasons that I wanted to, like, one of my visions with Become Legends is like, Become Legends is not really like a name. It's kind of something you aspire to. You're like, who the fuck is a legend? What is a legend? And for us to call ourselves legends for winning a Fortnite tournament, that's kind of a cunty move, you know. Fucking Kobe is a legend, Jordan is a legend. We're not legends, but it is something that I wanted the kids, you know, to have as a goal, like over a long time term. So we knew like the thing that we want to do is create storytelling around this. We want to show these zero to hero stories of these players who are literally nobodies, take them in under this umbrella and develop them and work with them. And we want to just show how it works, like 100% raw, unfiltered. Sometimes we're going to win, often we're going to lose as well. We just want to show it, like not just this bullshit lens that just glorifies the entire thing. We just want to show every single aspect of it. And that's kind of the philosophy behind the entire content production that we have.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
That's really cool, because I feel like a lot of people that watch esports, they get really into the stories, into the legacy of a player, you know what I mean? And I think that's really what sucks people in, and you create fans that way. That's why, like, I think people were complaining that Fortnite didn't include any sort of like team, you know, they just never let teams really be a part of the, like in World Cup, like you couldn't wear your team, you know, jersey or whatever. And people were saying that that's not cool, because in other esports, like the rivalries were always like what people followed. Like, yeah, like this is my favorite player on my favorite team against their like arch rivals. Like Fortnite didn't really have that like officially, so it's cool that you're building that like individually. You know what I mean? And
Absolutely.
And what I was gonna ask is you seem very passionate about this and like just like even like the storytelling aspect of it. So how did you end up like wanting to start like a Fortnite team? Like how did you get into gaming, like etc. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I kind of grew up with gaming. I was kind of spoon-fed gaming from my childhood. I grew up in Bosnia. It's a state in the Balkans between Croatia and Serbia. So I got an Atari when I was like 4 years old, and from there on, it was just like, okay, I just love this thing. And already in my teens, like I would invite friends over to like underground LAN basement parties where we just connect our computers, like 3 to 4 computers, play like Quake, the old school games, Warcraft 2, Warcraft 3, all these kind of things. And for me, it has always been like a super passion. And after, like when World of Warcraft came out, I started playing World of Warcraft kind of seriously, and I got into Method, which was at that time #1 ranked guild in the world. And I was like in my mid-20s, and I played and I had like a great time. And my mom said, you know what, you need to just get out there and get a job now. You can't slack anymore. Like just get the fuck out and do something with your life. And I decided, you know what, I want to work with gaming. So I just continued in that aspect, started hosting small tournaments in Norway, doing stuff like that. And it's just been like a super, super passion for me since childhood, to be honest.
You seem like you played a lot of Red Alert.
Oh, bro, so fucking much. Red Alert 1, Red Alert 2, Command and Conquer. Like we played the shit out of those games. We had like we had like even some rules among our friend groups. Like we had some cheesy strats, and we would literally fight, like real life fights, because people would fucking cheese and stuff in those games. It was super, super fun.
That was a fun game, man. That was going to Lebanon every summer. I would go to like the LAN centers. You know, the shitty broken down LAN. Nobody has computers there, and you pay like $1 an hour, and you just play Red Alert with all the boys. That was
what's Red Alert?
It's like you build like you build bases, you build barracks and gold, and you hunt shit from the side, and the enemy has a base on the other side of the map. And as you build like your army, you invade them. It was ahead of its time, man. It was ahead of its time.
It was way ahead of its time, man. It was so cool. Like you had these factions. You had like Russia, United States. So like you had like different units that you developed, and you needed to accumulate resources, and then you would like just
build soldiers and tanks, and then you invade from different sides. And if they don't have their defense, good game.
It was fantastic.
So you said you got in a game, you started hosting small tournaments. How did you? Well, before we get to that, we're on a point that I wanted to mention. You said you show the negatives as well. You know, even if they don't win, obviously, you know, they're still placing top 5, whatever. These are some of the top players in Europe. It's still devastating. Does that affect the player? How do the players adapt to that? Because a lot of these players don't like to make content, right? How do you persuade them to understand that, listen, we're building a story around you. We got to show this.
That has been super hard. Like just the first year, we tried to figure it out and break the code on how to do it. And when we had the first roster with Hen and Anas and Flick, and I just learned like, okay, these guys, they don't like having cameras pointed at them, and especially if they're doing not that great. They're very young and they get stressed if somebody comes with a camera. They're not used to it. So it took a long time to find the right people who wanted to be a part of that. So that's one of the most challenging things we do have in BL is finding the right players who want to be a part of this, because it's very few, man. It's like less than 3-4 players in Europe that fit into the BL system who are not a part of BL right now. So it's all about like it's all about. For us, it's been more like we usually have a talk with their parents when we want to sign a player, and we tell them about like what we're doing on the branding side of thing and the importance of building your own brand. I mean, you're a perfect example of that, the way you put your face out there and the way you change from like, you know, just Fortnite, and now you're doing like real life stuff, you've done other stuff, and it's just like a perfect example of the question I always ask the player: what are you going to do the day Fortnite dies?
It's a great question. Because
like if you build a YouTube channel which has 2 million followers, and the only thing you have in your channel is just Fortnite, you've never shown your face, and let's just say hypothetically Fortnite just died today, like what happens to your channel? It's effectively kind of dead, isn't it? Because people come there for Fortnite content. So we try to teach them like to put your face out there, build your personal brands at some point, like, and I also show them lots of example, like from, especially in the United States, you have so many people who have transitioned from game to game, from scene to scene, like Courage, for example, who was a Call of Duty caster, and where is he now? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so we try to show them that there is a career after which doing today, but you have to start on it today. Like you can't start when it's over. Then it's way too late to get started for most of them.
And not even when the game dies, when your passion dies for it, you know, that game could be there forever. But as you grow, you eventually, you know, these players, once they, you know, become whatever, it's 5 years of playing it, 7 years of playing it. You have very few Bjergsons and Fakers who are in the game for, you know, 10 plus years, living and breathing it every single day. And especially in Fortnite, it's not a league, a franchise where, you know, you're in this for 3 years or whatever. It's okay. You could have a shitty season next season.
Yeah.
And now you're off the map.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. Like, just honestly, I think like the way Epic Games is going now with Fortnite, they're literally building the Fortnite into this metaverse thing. I think it's going to be here 10 years plus.
For sure.
But I think also like, I don't know how long the interest around the competitive scene, how much they're going to push that for, because I've read some articles that seen some numbers that are not that flattering for competitive scene in Fortnite, but still, that's what I mean. Like I figured out the first week I made Become Legends, like it was 3 weeks onto the World Cup, we signed the first player. And just as Edwin was pointing out here, like you couldn't have all the branding or anything. And I figured out, you know what, like if we're gonna succeed here, we need to create our own value. Like they're not giving us jack shit. Like Epic is not gonna give us anything. So we just have to create our own value, and content was like a go-to on that front. So yeah, that's how we solved it, at least.
I think eventually they're gonna have to work with teams, because you know when Fortnite was at its peak, when it was as popular as it like ever got, it never like, you know how like nowadays there's like whole like skin packs, like, oh, like this player's pack in the store, like they did the ninja skin, they're doing all these collab skins.
You know what's fucked with those packs? It's never the player's skin.
Oh yeah, I know.
Nah, yeah, true.
It's just like whatever they want to sell, whatever they have a hard time selling. Yeah, for sure. But my point is, like, when Fortnite was super relevant, they never needed creators' help to reach out to people to get their audiences, etc. But then when it started declining, that's when they're like, okay, let's make the ninja skin. Let's start doing collabs and stuff to bring more people in, because it's kind of dying. And I think that it's gonna get to a point where they're gonna need to organize things with the teams to stay relevant when it does really hit that bottom. And I thought that they were going to do that. Do you guys remember when they did the FaZe Cup and like the like didn't they have like a G2 Cup and like stuff like that? Like they were involving the teams, and they did that one time and never again. And I always wondered why. Like I saw FaZe, like I opened up my Fortnite and it said FaZe on the thing. I was like, damn. I was like, that's cool. I was like, that's dope. And they never did it again. But I think they're gonna have to eventually. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Like the thing about Fortnite is that I think they need to understand is, like, even though the competitive part, just before I say that, like I read an article about Riot Games who said League of Legends Esports is still to this day not profitable. And that's okay, they said, because they understand the effect of the League of Legends Esports, what it has on League of Legends. Now, the thing about Fortnite is you have to think about it like this is, it's a super young audience, and it's all about if you're winning the playgrounds, the homes, and in the schoolyards. Because if I go to the schoolyard and I have a group of 5-6 friends and we're like 9, 10, 11 years old, and I say, yeah, you want to play Fortnite? But if it's cool, you want to play it. And then something new comes along, and then, nah, we don't want to play Fortnite anymore.
That's for losers.
Once that starts, exactly, once that starts happening, like if Benji suddenly stops streaming, and Mongrel and Noah and all these big guys who are a part of the competitive scene in their eyes, like if that starts, like then Fortnite is not cool anymore. You know what I mean? And that's the thing that they have to negate, and they have to work with teams and orgs to make sure that doesn't happen, because many teams and orgs represent many of these players, and I think it's going to be super important in this year to see what they do.
Do you think they're having a trouble grasping that idea? Like you said, League of Legends Esports isn't profitable, but that's direct. It's not directly profitable, because like all those eyes and the importance that it's giving League of Legends is making it so much money that you can't really track.
Exactly.
Do you think Epic doesn't understand that? What do you think it is that from somebody who sees, you see other numbers that the normal people don't see as an org owner, right? You guys are given like a, you know, back end information or whatever. It's just, you know, people talk or whatever.
We get some from here or there, absolutely.
What is it that they're missing?
I'm actually, I've been asking myself that question for the last 2 years as well, and I think it is just, it's been, I think from the way I see it, it's been a lack of somebody internally in Epic who's pushing out that thing. Like, I mean, just to give you an example, like when we're looking into investing into new esports, let's say when we look at Valorant, okay, so we try to see who is behind this Valorant team, who's running their esports department. Is it somebody like we know, so it's people from former MLG, it's people from League of Legends, from Riot. So you kind of get this picture, okay, these people, they have been in orgs, they understand the scene, but I think maybe in Epic Games, they haven't had the right bowl of people who understand the effect and the importance of that thing. So I understand if you just break it down to the quantifiable and you just look at the numbers and the figures, it's maybe not so flattering, but you have to think about all the unquantifiable effects. As you said, like you can't really measure, like let's say for League of Legends, when they sign huge partnerships and do all these events, like we don't know what that triggering effect is. And I definitely, they understand that having that esports side is helping them, whatever business decision they try to push. So I think there has just been a bit of lack of the right people behind it. But I can't say much, but I've heard some rumors that there's some stuff happening behind the scenes. Some new people are coming into competitive departments. So I have my hopes a bit up, to be honest, for 2022, but it remains to be seen.
I don't think those are rumors. I've heard the same things.
Okay.
So let me ask you a question. So these other esports, right? CSGO, League of Legends, Valorant, they all have a prize pool-less ranked system. It's a free ranked system. And the beauty of that is, I mean, when I was addicted to Fortnite, I was probably just as addicted to League of Legends when I was addicted to League of Legends, and it was for free. I wasn't out here competing for tournaments every day. It was just wanting to be the best, wanting to be the #1 rank on a leaderboard that's public so that people know who I am. Do you think that Epic is missing that, and that would be better in the long run? Because like the way I see their approach is, okay, they have this arena system and it's really fucking easy. Okay, I could not play the game for a year and come back and I just know the basics of the game and I can get champs like it's nothing.
You can sit in a bush if you want, technically.
Right. Well, I did. I got the champs without weapons. 3 seasons ago, I got the champs without weapons.
Okay.
And that was streamed, so I was getting stream sniped and shit. So like I was still pulling it off. You know what I'm saying? So but I hear casual players that play competitive and they say, "Oh yeah, I'm Division 3, like, you know, I'm trying to get to they think it's ranked." You know? So is Epic, I mean, Epic is feeding towards those people, but if they switched it, I mean, do you think it would have, do you think those people would still want to play?
Yeah, I think the biggest issue they have is they set the bar so high from the get-go. Remember, like 2019, they came with this huge press release. We're going to put in $100 million into esports, and that kind of turned everybody's eyes on Fortnite and Epic Games. And I think they set the standard because in every, as you so nicely explained, like historically for the last 25 years in esports, like it has been, you want to be the best maybe in your school, you want to be the best among your friends, and then you want to be the best in your town, city, country, then you build the leaderboards online. Yeah. Exactly. There's like a very linear from grassroots to the top. There's like a development, and I think Epic Games hasn't implemented anything like it. It's just like very black and white in that sense. And I think that's also one of the problems that these kids who think like they're competing, as you said, I'm rank 3, I want to get like higher rank and stuff like this. I think it's a bit of a communication issue that they don't have that system that's very clear for the players out there where they are and what's possible to do. So I hope that's going to change in the future.
Yeah, I feel like, dude, go ahead.
I gotta say, man, like as a casual player of a lot of games, Fortnite, Halo, Call of Duty, man, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Halo ranking system, but when I was a kid, when I was like in 7th grade, 6th grade, I would grind it so much, and it was because the rank system was actually a rank system. Like if you didn't perform well for 2 games, you got shit on. Like you fell a couple ranks. There's no negative to losing a game in Fortnite. Like if you lose a couple games, you lose some points, like no one gives a shit. And once you hit once you hit champs, you can't like get out of champs. Like you can't like de-rank from champs. But like in Halo, bro, like and the new Halo that came out, it's the same way. I found myself addicted to the game for a couple of weeks because there's a ranking system that's unforgiving, and like it's genuine, and it's not like that in Call of Duty. It's not like that in Fortnite, and I don't know why. I think it's because of it's the participation trophy mentality where they want even the worst player to think that they're a great player. I actually read something interesting. Statistically speaking, if every person that plays Fortnite, everyone, even the most casual player, if you ask them, most of the time they will tell you that they're above average. Most of the time they will tell you that they're better than they actually are. Like that was like a statistic that came out because of the way the game is designed. Everyone's kind of a winner, even if you don't get that battle royale win. You know what I mean?
That's a great point that you say that, because I was on my way to a music festival with Blake last week, and we met these two dudes, and we were walking with them, and we start talking, and they go, "What do you guys do?" And I was like, "He's a professional gamer." And they were like, "Oh, what game?" And I was like, "Fortnite." And they're like, "Dude, we're so good at Fortnite. Like, we shit on everybody." And he goes, "I'm still on Builder Pro when I shit on everybody." Like he's talking these old Fortnite settings, right? Yeah. And he talks to all this mad game, and he goes, "Dude, we should play together. You should add me." And he goes, "What do you play? PlayStation or Xbox?" He's like, "I play PlayStation." God. And that's when I like thought about literally exactly what you just said. Because Blake looks at him and he goes, "PC," and the guy goes, "Oh shit. Yeah, you're like really good."
Pictures painted. Yeah, we've met a few of those guys. I gotta say, here and there, like we meet some people who think they're definitely better than they are. But it is also like one of the things that Epic Games also wanted from the beginning. They said they feel esport is like too close, like on the top. They wanted to have a more open approach to the competitive scene. And I agree on that assessment. It's just like, I don't think the execution has been right in that regard, which is why we're stuck with these issues we have today in the competitive scene. They literally said, I think one of the first years, like they want to make esports accessible for everybody. And that is why they had, I don't remember, you had like prices for like top 2,000, you get like $100, right? Yeah. I mean, where do you get that exactly? Where do you get that anywhere else? Nowhere. So I think that's been one of the things. They set the bar so high from the get-go, and then they kind of just swept the rug under everybody's feet, and it was just left with the competitive scene, which is the players who we see today, and the people who thought they're super good. They're not really that good as they are, and they don't have like a real concise system, and they don't have like an incentive to come back. Like, to be honest, like if you're a kid today and you're like 12, 13, like I don't even know where you get started, because the game is like how do you start to compete, and how are you going to beat like all these pros? Like I don't even know. It's going to take so long time. Like what's their progression like? I really don't know.
And they have to find their way around Discords and then get into a better
That's
Discord.
The thing. That's what I mean.
Right.
That's what I mean.
It used to be different.
Where do you navigate in the landscape? Exactly.
There used
like
to be one Discord.
Yeah, exactly.
Now there's 30.
In League of Legends, like in League of Legends, you have a clear system. You have to level up, and then you start ranking. You maybe get into bronze, and you have to grind up.
And you can meet players if you enjoy.
Exactly.
If you enjoyed playing with one person, you add them. Exactly. And now you guys are ranked homies.
That's what I mean. Here it's just so open. It's just everything is everywhere. And
I think that a lack of honesty when it comes to like the transparency on like you're actually pretty bad at this game, like get better. I think that's been kind of lost over time, because like even in Call of Duty, like Call of Duty never had skill-based matchmaking. It was just kind of like you got in a game, and if you got shit on, you got shit on, and like you go again, right? And like that's the complaint now. Like I played a tournament yesterday, and I had to play with this girl who's like a TikToker, like, because, you know, long story, but we had the same management. She got invited to a tournament. She didn't have a team. So I played with her. I got another kid that I knew that was really good, and we all played together. Well, what she added to the team was actually huge. She never plays the game, so she was like a level 0, like across the board, and there's skill-based matchmaking in Call of Duty. So we just let her have host, and we were fine.
Exactly.
Like my boy dropped like 30 bombs and stuff, but like because of that skill-based matchmaking, when in the past that was never a thing.
You probably ruined her gaming experience, because after that she started placing with the good players. Yeah, and she's getting shit on.
She's having a tough time now.
But to Arab's point, you know, like with those kids that say like they're on Builder Pro, like they're like, oh, I'm sick at the game. It's because of skill-based matchmaking. They don't play the game for 3 months. They hop on. They get to play a bunch of bots. They build 3 times and they win a game. You know, so it's
exactly.
Like,
Well, it isn't that. I mean, it's okay to. It's the idea is that these new players already think arena is competitive. They think that's the competitive mode.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
it wouldn't matter if Epic separated the game modes and like obviously they have differences in them, but a lot of the time it's pretty similar. You know, they remove just the really OP shit because those players that are playing arena, like I've seen noobs play. Like I go and watch 0 viewer streamers sometimes that are still trying to make their name out there, and you see them, they'll die and they'll be like, dang, I don't know if you maybe let's play some pubs instead of competitive right now or something, you know. And it's like they're Division 2 or whatever, and they know that it's competitive and they're getting shit on, but they don't have the like. When I was in League of Legends, okay, I was Diamond 1 and
nice.
I got to Master, and my first game in Master I was playing early in the morning, late at night, like 5 a.m. I ended up in a game with 4 challenger players on my team and 5 on the other, and I was the only Master player. And here I was thinking like, okay, I'm top 500, all right, this is like this, I'll be fine. I go into this game and I get absolutely shit on. I've never been shit on harder in my life. I didn't know they were challenger at first. I just saw that like one of my teammates was a pro, and I got fucking like 0-18. And I'm apologizing to these big streamers, dude. They have like fucking 10K viewers, whatever. I'm like, listen, man, sorry, blah blah. And I realized the difference that like, sure, you up the rank and now you're playing with 1 rank higher, and it's that much different because their rank systems are so good that even that little sliver of rank, you're not good enough to be in it. Get the fuck back down. And I got the fuck back down.
Dude. Let me tell you guys another story. All right. So I was playing Halo, right? I told you guys I was addicted for a couple weeks. So there's a reason I don't play it anymore, right? And so I was playing Halo. I was getting pretty good. There's like a ranking system where like the top rank is Onyx, right? And I was like, you know, Diamond 1, which is like Diamond. I think it goes up to Diamond 6 and then Onyx. And I had this homie. His name's Belk, and he's like a pro Warzone player, and he plays with like Z-Laner. He plays with like other people who are really like big in the scene, like Destroy, etc. So we all got in a game together. It was me, Destroy, Z-Laner, and Belk. And they're all Onyx. They're all on controller too, which Halo's like a super controller-centric game, right? I'm playing on mouse and keyboard. Mouse and keyboard doesn't have aim assist. Holy shit, bro. I played with them for 3 hours, and I never wanted to play that game ever again. The last game I played with them, I shit you not, bro, I went 1-15. 1-15. And I'm not bad at the game, bro.
Well, let me ask you a question. I mean? Was it demotivating for you? Because for me, when I got shit on like that, I was like, damn, I really need to get better. It wasn't like,
well,
it wasn't I need to quit. It was, okay, let me figure out how to get better at this.
Yeah. Well, the difference for me, the reason why it was demotivating for me was because I realized that there was an input difference that I will never be able to overcome. They have controllers. All of them had controllers. I have a mouse and keyboard. Everyone else in the lobby had controllers, and like you can't win that, bro. You can't. If it was,
so it felt unfair,
If it was another situation where it was all equal, we're all mouse and keyboard or whatever, like I'm sure I'd be fine. But like, dude, that was a crazy experience. That was I got rolled. You know what I mean?
Reno.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yes.
If you were in Epic Games right now working, what would be the first changes you'd make to competitive?
I think you have to. I would step back a little bit and just take a little observation of everything that's going on that has happened and try to assess the full scene. And I think some of the first changes I would like to implement is I would actually take a few lessons from the book of other developers and try to see what has been driving esports successfully in other aspects and how we can implement and convert that into Fortnite. An example is like, you have so many great examples like League of Legends, Valorant, even right now with the latest Valorant Championship, where they had the revenue share of that skin pack, which is like 50% went to orgs. And I read like there was like, they sold for like $15 million, so $7.5 million went to the orgs, which means like
Dota does
something
that.
like to
the World
Dota
Championship.
has done that. The compendium, exactly. You have the compendium. I play the fuck out of Dota, by the way. I played Dota for many years. So you buy this compendium and you can level up the compendium and it goes into the prize pool. So I would try to think about how we can how we can do something with the community and the teams and try to start to think about this sandwich from beginner grassroots up to the top, and how we can close the gap and make sure we have clear layers on every single level. As you said, like, it shouldn't really be that somebody's in Division 2 and they think they're playing, competitive. That, like, this kid should actually know, like, where he's at and what he's doing and how we can progress. But there's no clear indication of that in the game. It's kind of just lays it open out there.
So one of your first moves would be that shared revenue split for the prize pool?
Like, yeah, definitely. Like, you need to attract the big orgs back, right? I mean, there's been many orgs who's come into Fortnite and dipped again. Like, you want to make it an attractive game, because you have to think about first, like, you want to keep the phases and the 100 Thieves and all these orgs who's been around. Like, yeah, right now they are in Fortnite, but they're
not making content. They're not doing anything.
Exactly.
You're the one making the content. You're the one who's pioneering that.
Yeah, true. We are, for now at least, just the Fortnite org. So we have to make the best out of what we have. But this is not also going to stay forever for us. We're going to develop into new esports as well, and we're going to go new ways. And who knows what's going to happen with our Fortnite department in 3 to 5 years? Like, I don't know. But as long as they show clear progress and incentivization for the orgs and start to do something to create the community aspect of it, I think that it's going to be better. Yeah.
How do you fund all this?
We've had both private investors and corporate investors into Become Legends. I've been super lucky because I worked with my events, and the last year of the events I did, we lost a fuck ton of money, and I was like, all right, I need to go out there and get investors to cover these losses. Or it was a fuck ton for me because I was the only one who was owning the company, so it was my personal liability.
And spending like money you save sucks.
Exactly. So it was like $50,000-$50,000 deficit. I'm like, fuck, like, I'm going to have to work like shit, or I can go out and find somebody who can help me out. And I met this group of people who were super passionate about gaming, and we started about doing these events, and we covered all the depth. And then we're like, you know what, like, maybe events is the best business model. Maybe we should do something else. And at the same time, I wanted to get back into the competitive scene. I kind of missed, as I said, being on the player side of things. I felt like I had a lot to give. I wanted to use my experience I've built over the years to give it to a younger audience who can utilize it better than me, because I can't. I'm 35. I can't compete anymore. Like, I mean, I'm okay at the games that I play, but like, I can't be a professional anymore. Let's be honest. So we found these investors. They jumped on board, and they've loved being a part of the progress. And gradually over the last 2 years, we've just had like one funding round. Just kind of kept everything floating, and we had some sponsors and stuff. So we've been fortunate to make sure that everything is going around.
Good for you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I really do see you killing it, and I see you, staying in it for a long time. Just because it doesn't seem like you waste your money on stupid shit. You're building I mean, for an org that's so fresh, you have 60K subs on YouTube, but your videos, every fourth video gets 200K plus views, and then every video gets like 60 to 80 average. The activity is crazy.
Yeah, like that. Look, the way we do it, like I try to apply like this K-pop model, and this is gonna sound a bit funny, but like in Korea, you have these huge agencies who scout young girls and boys, and they bring them in at a super young age, and they have like huge houses with like 100, 200 people who train choreography, they dance, they build their brands, and then they create these superstar groups like Blackpink, for example.
Right.
And that's kind of one of the philosophies we have in BL. We have to identify the group of people who work together and who vibe together, and who both on camera and as a team. So that's why I say it's like threading that needle is extremely hard to find the right people who can be a part of this. And that's why I think the content works. Like when we have our entire apparatus available, like when Noah is there, Setty is there, when the coach is there, Jacob is there, like the numbers pop off. So we have carefully selected like every single piece of the chessboard to be a part of this package.
And what's the regiment look like for a player who comes to the boot camp? Their sleep schedule, food, how does it all work?
Yeah, like usually what we do is like first week we just leave their own, because people bring habits from their home. We just want to see like how they live at home. We don't want to like force anything on them. And for us, it's more like we don't take that parental role. We say, hey, listen, you have to do this. It's more like, look, guys, we've seen you the way you do it. It doesn't work out. let's try our method and see if this works. And we bring it as an option, as an alternative. And everybody who's kind of gone along has seen clear difference in their life. Like Setty is the prime example. Like when we signed Setty, he wasn't really a big player. He was, I don't even know, like top 50, top 60 in Europe. But I saw a player who had so much potential in him, not only just as a player, but as a brand. I saw, and every player who's come in and been a part of this regiment has had super good effect out of it. So they kind of have to meet us halfway, to put it like that. So we present it as an option, and we say, look, this is what we do. And if they take our hand, it usually works out really well. Sometimes it doesn't. So yeah.
And how do you so these players, what you notice a lot in esports is, these players blow up extremely fast or whatever it is, and all of a sudden they demand these crazy amounts of money that orgs, especially new orgs, can't offer to pay them. How do you bridge that gap to make them understand that there is something there in your org that's other than money? I mean, obviously there's a salary, but the value, like for me personally, I've gotten offers from organizations and all they're offering is money. I don't want that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I need someone who's gonna pump out the production or make me a better person. How do you bridge that gap between an org and a player to show them, hey, listen, we offer something other than money, and we're a team, like we're building this together?
Yeah, that has definitely been a challenge. And like the first year, I mean, we did lose our entire, like at the end of 2020, we lost Flick on us hand. We were like back in square zero. We just were left with Rifle, and that's because at that time lots of orgs came in who pumped a lot of money, and we really couldn't compete with their salaries. And it wasn't really clear because we didn't have that we have today. Because right now it's actually a bit more easier because most people who are in the competitive scene do know about Become Legends, and I think we've made it very clear visually through our content what we provide to players. And I think players are able to string together the pieces and see what we bring. We do unfortunately still have to compete with some of the orgs who do bring a lot of money, because it is still a defining factor for many people. Like you are at that age where you understand value proposition, what's important for you, and what brings value to you as a person and as your career. But I understand when you're like 15 and you're going from like zero to suddenly getting these paychecks thrown at you, that it's super lucrative to just grab the biggest one. So I don't blame the people for that at all. But I think I've also seen that many of them who enter these orgs for monetary purposes don't usually stay that long as well, because they understand, okay, this money really isn't making me a better player. It isn't growing my social. It doesn't really do anything except maybe put some food on my table, which is absolutely great. So the way I see like everything that has been solved with money usually isn't a long-term solution. It's more like of a band-aid. So we try to show the players and the content creators who we sign on that we provide something bigger than that. We show them like, we have dreams. This is where we want to be in 3 years. This is where we want to be in 5 years. Do you want to be a part of this journey or not? It's like up to you. So if you are a part of this, you're here for the long term, and we're gonna get there together, one way or another. So that's what we do.
Yeah, I think that also like it helps you really vet people who are doing it for the right reasons too.
Oh, absolutely.
You seem like a very passionate, like I always tell people, man, if you do something for long enough and you're genuinely passionate about it, you'll refine your craft to where you'll get to a point where you'll at least make a living doing it. You know what I mean?
100%.
And the thing is, like, I feel like it helps you see who's in it for the money for the short term and who really wants to improve themselves personally. You know, I think that a lot of players, they man, I gotta say, my least favorite thing that I see a player do is hop from random team to random team for money.
Yeah, same, bro.
Because I feel like I'm visually seeing your lack of loyalty to anyone, and you just follow where the money is. So like, I don't think you're in it to improve. I think you're in it for the money, you know. And obviously, like, that's like semi unfair because maybe their personal lives, like maybe that's what they need to do. So like, if that's your situation, omit my comment. But if it isn't and you're just doing it for the money, then like it helps you out in the sense that you don't want a player on your team like that, you know.
Absolutely.
You want people that are going to improve and understand that you guys provide an infrastructure and a lifestyle that will help them reach their goals. And some people don't see that, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. And that's one of the things we've had, that like we have a pretty long process. Like once we initiate contact with a player, it can take up to like 6 months before we sign them. And usually then if player, like, it's not that we put them like on the waiting bench or anything like that. It's more like sometimes it takes time to figure everything out. Like, we need to understand what we can provide to the player and what they give back to us. And we've seen that, like, that some players have lost interest very fast because their incentivization was originally money, and then they weren't in that interested. Like, we've also had big players that we've spoken with who we agreed on the salary side of things. And, like, everything sounds good, but I don't want to come to boot camps. I don't want to do content. I don't want to, like, then what are we really paying you for? I mean, like, it doesn't make any sense from like a business perspective, because as I mentioned, we have to create our own value, and we cannot use you. Like, if we're investing in you, we need to get something back out of it, because it's not going to be like the prize money, because the prize money splits are terrible in Fortnite. So it's not that. So I mean, we just have to, it is a vetting process, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we had I'm looking up right now because it was Astrals. Astralis,
yeah.
We had Astralis, the owner of that team, on the podcast, and he was telling us that when they vet their players, they do a personality test. They do everything. Like, they get really in depth, and same thing with you guys. Like, they had like a long vetting process before they actually make it on the team. Like, they want people that are going to subscribe to their lifestyle. Like, they want to actually create champions. Like, that's what their goal is. And, you know, and I think that to be on a team like that, you have to fall in line with those ideals, and money can't be your driving factor in what you're doing. You know what I mean?
No, like, it never should be. Like, that's one of the things. And Astralis is also originally Norwegian. I think it's a very Nordic mentality, like both we and Astralis do think. And we've seen this in other orgs as well, like Ninjas in Pajamas and stuff like that. The way orgs are built up and structured. And even, I don't know if you remember the CSGO team North, they had like a very specific structure of the lifestyle of what it takes to become a champion. And I think we kind of all subscribe to the same ideals in that sense. And I just want to say that just getting Astralis into the scene is absolutely fantastic for the Fortnite scene as well, and super cool. I saw the podcast with Jacob, and it's super cool to have them on the scene.
Smart guy.
Like, absolutely. Like, this guy has been, I don't know if you know, but this guy's been in esports like for a long time, man. He's done so much. Like, he's been in the for quite a long time, and he has so much like experience, and it's fantastic. Like, for me, when I see an org like that come into Fortnite, it just that almost gives me more than when Epic says
you cut out. You just cut out. Repeat that.
Oh, sorry. I was just about to say, when I see like an org like Astralis come into the Fortnite scene, that almost gives me personally more pleasure than when Epic Games announces a new FNCS, because I know that Astralis is bringing so much value to the scene that one-time tournament cannot. So I think it's great to have them here, and that's why I also want to find an incentivization way to get more orgs like that into the scene, because I think they bring tremendous value.
I think that I like. So the reason I brought them up is because you remind me, the way you talk about your team and your goals, you remind me a lot about like a lot of him and that team in general. And I think that I really enjoy when teams like you guys, like them, they come into the scene and they do well, because what's going to happen is everyone's like, dang, why is this team doing so well and they're not the team that pays people the most? Like, there's teams that are going to pay their players a lot more money, but they're not going to perform as well. And people are going to start to wonder what that variable is, and the variable is going to be the pride in what you do, the fact that money isn't your driving factor, and like the fact that you're, you know, creating people to be winners. And I think that more teams like this need to enter into Fortnite, into other scenes, etc., to set that standard of like, money isn't what gets you the best players. It's infrastructure, it's support, you know, etc.
Yeah, another thing to back that, like, I mean, this is nothing new. Like, I mean, sports has been around for over hundreds of years, and especially competitive sports. Like it's kind of funny, since I'm a Manchester City fan. In Europe, Manchester City is seen as like an oil club, since they're owned by an Arab conglomerate. But it's also kind of a fact that money can't buy fans. So if you want to build a real fan base, you have to have the story connection with the fans in an authentic way. You have to find your angle, and usually buying doesn't really solve that. We've seen that in sports for the last 20, 30, 40 years. I mean, we've seen some success stories which have turned out, like, for example, with Messi in Barcelona and Ronaldo in Real Madrid and all these things. But then again, like, there are also people who are diehard fans of the club who's like in the 4th division for their entire life, and their kid becomes the fan. And we kind of want to subscribe to that idea where we build long-term fans, because I try to teach players one thing: a follower is not a fan. You have to differentiate those two things. So you can have 1 million followers, that is not 1 million fans. So you have to make sure that the fan base that you're building up is authentic, and I think that's the way to do it, by creating these championship stories, the hero to zero thing, and these things that the common man can feel connected with.
Right. You do you have any plans on streaming the tournaments as like a broadcasting perspective of your players, or will that take away from the YouTube content?
Oh, absolutely. We do it already, but through Jacob. We have this content creator, Jacob, here in Poland, who has been doing it in Polish. And he's had numbers. He's had between 8 to 15K concurrent every time he streamed. And he streamed the last 2 FNCSs. So what we usually do is we bring Jacob to the house wherever we are, and we put up a setup for him. But as an org, like, I think we just decided to not build up our own Twitch, because we really want to focus more on our own YouTube, because we feel that for long term, we really believe in YouTube as a whole. So I think we as an org will be focusing more on just the YouTube content, and then we will utilize our content creators and players to stream the POVs from them.
I have a question about your coaching. You have the coach
Sven.
named Sven.
Yes.
And you've been in it. How did you pick him? How do you decide? Because when you picked him, from my knowledge, he wasn't known for coaching, and he wasn't, a big name in the scene. How did you pick him over someone like Blood X?
He wasn't that known, but he was working with MCES at that time, and he was working with Andilex, and he was working with some of the players in the French scene, and he's done tremendous work there. He actually, I think before he joined BL, he had a second place in FNCS under his belt, to put it like that. So for me, it was more like about the connection that I felt with Sven, and the competence that I felt. Like, this guy was so dedicated to the craft. Like, he had thousands of sheets, Google spreadsheets, all these documents, the landing maps, the everything, and he was super analytical. So I thought in the beginning, okay, this guy's more of an analyst. But then he also showed that he worked as a teacher in a school, an esports school in France, in Bordeaux. And he had this fatherly aura around him, which I thought, okay, this is actually kind of what we need for these young players. We need somebody who they can respect and subscribe to. So we felt really good about Sven and the whole package. And he's been absolutely phenomenal for us.
That's cool. You're investing in people.
Oh, absolutely. There's no other way around. That's the same thing. My investors, like, I tell them, look, as much as you love if you don't believe in me and the people around me, like, there's no point to do this project, because ultimately we're the one carrying the project. So it's the same for us.
When do you see this business becoming profitable?
You mean like BL or esports as a whole?
BL.
We are definitely not cash flow positive yet, and I don't think we will be in 2022 either. I think we're going to lose quite a bit of money, and which is fine. It's according to the plan that we have. I'm guessing it's going to take like a couple of years before we start to see some proper income on the channels we have. So 2022 is going to be used to build up the foundation of the 3 pillars that we have, which is competitive, content, and lifestyle, which is basically the application. So we did like some tests this year. We dropped sleeves. We sold them out 3 times with zero marketing. I mean, except for the players and everything they promote, but we don't buy any ads and stuff like this. And we want to keep it that way. So I think it's going to take like at least a couple of years before we start to see any profitability. And that's like a general rule. My old mentor taught me. He said every business needs like a 3 to 4 year like period before you start realistically seeing some proper profits.
I mean, that's a great point. That's kind of how streaming and YouTube is as well.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on the business for sure, but like businesses like this, especially the entertainment business, they're very front end loaded. They're businesses that you go in understanding that you're going to put in a lot of work, a lot of time, and not see anything happen for a couple of years. Like, you have to understand that that's how it's going to be. Not all businesses not all businesses are like that, but like, you know what they say, man, easy come, easy go, and anything worth having is worth working for, so.
Absolutely. I worked volunteer for 7 years in sports before I got my first paycheck. And I was okay with that because I knew what I was building up my competence and my experience and my repertoire. So I wanted to get to that level where I can start making some serious money. And I wouldn't recommend anybody else to.
I mean, that's how it is. That's how it is. I mean, I streamed for 3 years with $0, That's just how it is.
Exactly,
yeah. I had somebody ask me the other day, like, it was like in regards to content creation, and they asked me, they said, how much money did you make before you did content creation full time? Like, and this is like back like when I was like heavily involved in a big YouTube channel. And I told them, I said, man, listen, when you love doing something, when you're passionate about doing something, you will, it doesn't matter. Like, I told them, I was like, when I made the smallest amount of money that I could live off of, like that, as soon as I could live off of it, that's when I did it. As soon as I could make the smallest living off of making content, that's when I was fully in. Because I was like, well, if I'm making this much money now and this is only the beginning, like I just have to full on invest, And I think that, like I said, it's really easy working for no money when you like what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And I've said it so many times, like I would rather like $2,000-$3,000 if that's what I could afford my lifestyle, then do some corporate job for $10,000 per month. Like
100%.
Like I wouldn't trade this for the world, and I think I paid my dues to come where I am right now. And like, if you're passionate about it, that feeling when it turns around zero to the first paycheck, that's the biggest motivational boost ever. It was for me, at least. Like that's when I knew, like, you know what, this is possible. Like now, I really just want to put all my energy and passion into this even more than before.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you find a balance between bringing competitive players on versus content creators, and does BL plan to bring content creators on in the future?
Absolutely. We just this year saw the value of having a great content creator in your team. Like it just brings so much. I mean, I'm not talking about the numbers and things, but just like content creators are usually better in front of a camera, right? So if you have somebody who is versed in front of the camera, who can represent the brand in a good way, it's usually really good. And you see it with orgs like 100 Thieves, who have a group of content creators. Like if you talk about like Nadeshot, Valkyrie, Courage, and all these guys, then you have the same thing in FaZe and other. I think that is kind of the goal that we want to do too. And the other thing I want to also empower people we have in the team, like who work in our administration, who are like Elix and Chloe and all these people. I want to make them comfortable in front of the camera and make sure that they also become their own brands in a sense, the same way that we do with the players. So I think it's super important that every person that comes in has to kind of think that to an extent you will be a content creator. But in general, like to sign content creators is also, it's extremely challenging, to be honest. It's super hard to find content creators, and like for a player it's easy because most players, they want to be the best. They have usually a set amount of goals that they have. For content creators, we haven't really identified that what the content creators are looking for in terms of like what is the connection between a competitive org and a content creator. And it's very individual from person to person. We're trying to figure it out still, but I think we'll definitely have more.
And then I want to ask about your involvement. You're a heavy face in the org. First
Literally.
of all, before
I'm working on it.
First of all, who do you draw inspiration from?
I gotta give a big heads up to Justin Khan, Twitch,
yeah.
Absolutely fantastic figure. I've just the past 2 years, I feel this guy has taught me more than I've learned in 30
Through his YouTube
years
videos?
prior. Yeah, his YouTube videos, his TikTok, everything. Like this guy has like tidbit wisdom that just make me change my thought process on something. And he's such a fantastic person. I've also Andy Miller, Energy, fantastic guy. Hex, Optic.
I see a lot of similarities between you and Hex.
Bro, I'm a fan of Optic, man. I've been for a long time, and I think it's because I feel their vibes and the way up the entire Optic roster and the way with the Hex quarters and everything that they have. I kind of like the entire family vibe. That was one of the things you obviously see it in BL as well. That's something that's not trying to replicate what they do, but we're trying to have the same lean back approach to what we do. And I think it's a good way to front yourself. I think that's some of the people definitely who inspire me a lot in the scene. But besides that, I executives in more non-traditional, not sports, like in F1, like Mercedes, McLaren, the owners there. Like I really love to take inspiration from some of the bigger, the people who are doing it well in other departments as well, because I see lots of things that can be translated into esports down the road that they're doing right in F1.
Damn, you got a good list there.
Thank you.
Yeah. So
That's my go-to on YouTube. Like one of those guys, when if a video pops up, it's just instant. That's what I love to watch every single morning.
on that note, before we change the points, what do you incorporate yourself a lot into these videos? Why? What's the value for somebody listening?
For me, to begin with, it was like a necessity. I'm like, oh shit, players that like they're not gonna hold the camera. And whatever.
You just cut out. You're cutting out.
Oh, sorry about it. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Perfect. So in the beginning, it was more like a thing of necessity because I understood these players are not gonna do it. They're not gonna, like, the 15-year-old pro is not gonna pick up the camera and, yo, what's up? Today we're doing this and this. So I kind of had to do it, and then I kind of just ran with it. And now I want to continue more to focus on the content side of things. So for me, it's kind of it's a passion as well as I do lots of the cinematography. I do most of the editing and Become Legends. So it is a passion to create storylines, and I want to.
You still edit everything?
Yeah, I edit everything, bro. I've spent so many. Like my MacBook is being run hard every single night. Premiere Pro. I've been using that for many years, man. That's what I studied originally. Like not editing, but 3D film production. That's what I wanted to do. I loved Pixar, and I wanted to do stuff like that. But then it got more passionate about like real film and documentary. So, yeah.
Go ahead, Edwin.
I was gonna go back to, like, you asked for his list of inspirational, people he takes inspiration from. I thought that it was cool that not everyone was another org owner, not everyone was like another Fortnite player. It was like people that have experience in different industries, and you take like little bits of their advice and you use it in what you're doing. And I think that people get the difference between being educated and being intelligent mixed up. Being educated just means that you can pass a test, right? Being intelligent means that you can take the things that you have learned and apply them practically in real life. And so that that's a vouch to you being a smart guy, because you're taking things that other people do in other industries. How can I apply this into what I'm doing? And if you can successfully do that, then that already puts you above other teams that aren't even thinking in that mindset, and you're saying Absolutely. That the dude from Twitch, he gives you a bunch of ideas. Well, he probably changes your perspective on how to look at things too, which is important. I think having a constant change in perspective on how to view obstacles when it comes to a business is very important, because you can solve problems. You have an eye for solving problems after you see it from a bunch of different angles and stuff.
Absolutely. And I forgot one super important person. That's Steve Jobs, obviously. Like, I mean, one of the things that Steve Jobs said that kind of stuck with me since I was a kid, and it was like, hire people who are better than you. And when I was young, like I had a super ego, so I was like, well, who the fuck's better than me at what I do? Like, same thing with these Fortnite kids who you met at the festival. Like, yeah, we're super cracked. I kind of was the same when I was young, and the older I got more humble, and that thing really stuck with me and changed my perspective. And it made me understand that, like, you really want to build something, you want to do something. The team and the people that you're surrounded with, even friends and family, is probably the biggest and the most important factor if you're gonna make it or not. Unless you're like a super hard-headed person who can do everything on your own. Like, I think it's super important to be surrounded by good people who inspire you also on an everyday basis. And I feel super blessed with that in BL. I have lots of young people around me who don't have necessarily the industry experience, but just seeing their drive and their passion and how ambitious they work for this project, it makes me also want to give more back of myself. So I think it's the composition of the team, of the people around you, is probably like alpha and omega in success.
Yeah, and on that note, one of my favorite, like, I don't remember where I heard it, but it's something that I try to live my life by, which is the smartest people in the world are smart enough to know that they don't know everything, and they're smart enough to learn from people around them. You know, like you can learn something from everyone. You know, like
Absolutely.
the people that end up struggling in life are the ones that think they know it all. You know what I mean? And you just have to humble yourself and understand that you can learn from everyone, bro. Everyone has something to teach you if you're willing to listen. You know?
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah. So
The duo of Setty and Noahreyli, they're both on BL, both some of the top players. Is that persuaded by you guys, or is it heavily affected? Is their decision heavily affected by the fact that they both know they can be at boot camp whenever? It's very rare that you see two people on the same org duoing together in Fortnite, just because of the ability to, pick random teammates. Was there a talk there behind the scenes? How did that happen?
Yeah, I think even if when you have a winning team and you're winning thing, you still have to go back and analyze and find your weaknesses even in the winning moments and see what you're doing good and what you're doing not so good. And one of the things we spent lots of time this year, and I got to give credits to Sven, is identifying all the pros and cons of all our players. So we kind of know their strengths and weaknesses and how to play with them. So we kind of know what the perfect composition is at least we like to think we know. So the Noah and Setty thing was something played with already a few months ago when we started talking, what do you think is going to happen next year? What if it's duos? And we thought, like, for Noah, like, you need a super good IGL, you need somebody who can tarp, you need somebody who can keep you on a leash because you're great at what you do, but you need definitely the structure. And for Setty, we're like, you need somebody who's an absolutely amazing fighter, somebody who's mechanically cracked, who can take you through hardships and spots and get you to the end game. Because if you get into the end game, you're going to win games. So we thought, well, aren't they kind of perfectly matching, like kind of yin yang thing? And we proposed that idea to them once FNCS were announced, and I think Ben has been closely working with them and talking with them about it, and they wanted to give it a shot. So I'm super excited to work out. Like, on paper, they should be killing it like every single tournament, but it's definitely going to take some time to adapt to this meta that's right now, the gunplay, everything that's going on. So the first FNCS is going to kind of show the strengths and the weaknesses again that we're going to have to adjust to.
It's a great analysis of it. How do you feel about the new season? Are you let down by the fact that a new chapter came out like this?
No, not let down. Like, I love what Epic does in general with changing the game. I mean, for a competitive perspective, like, if they change the football pitch every single year, now it's obviously not great for the competitive side of things. But then again, it keeps the game fresh. So I like the map. I don't like the guns, and I don't think anybody does. I mean, it's okay. I also think just like the red dot weapon is also just the beginning of a mechanic they wanted to implement. Because I heard a long time about, and I heard a long time ago that they're going to have like a first-person perspective. So I think this is like an experimental for them, and that's what I've told players. Just like, take it as it is, play it out. It's not going to stay forever. It's going to change in a couple of months anyway. The gunplay is going to change. The map will adjust. Snow is going to start melting. So overall, I think they've done a good job. But from a competitive perspective, there is some things that I hope they improve before FNCS qualifiers start. Most importantly, the gunplay.
Let's wrap it up here. I have one more question as we come to the end of this. First of all, I think you have a bright future. Obviously, you're killing it right now.
Thank you.
The community loves you all around.
I appreciate that. Thank you so
whether
much.
the follower count reflects it or not, the love is there, and over time, people. Yeah, I like to say it takes people a few times to click follow. They have to feel like,
Absolutely.
They're coming back for something that they're gonna enjoy. Like, I don't follow somebody off one tweet. It's multiple times. You got to pop up on my timeline, or multiple times I got to be in your stream. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I like to think of Become Legends as not an esports team, but as a brand.
Beautiful.
And one of the most important things I think we have to face over the next 5 years is the change over to Web 3.0, the entrance of the metaverse, the blockchain, and all these things. So I'm seeing Become Legends as a more digital organization than it is today. I think we will have to be at the absolute front of whatever is happening and be really open for everything that's coming our way, because the internet is changing now, man. And with COVID continuously going up, I don't think society is gonna, the status quo is gonna probably stay around for quite a while, at least for the foreseeable future. So in 5 years, I'm definitely hoping Become Legends is emerged as engaged as a brand toward Gen Z as we are today. Obviously a higher level into whatever the new internet and the metaverse has thrown our way. So that's my goal for us.
Good for you, bro. Where can people find you? What should they expect the next few months? Go ahead, let it out.
Yes. So first off, just you don't have to follow me. Like
your links are there. They're there.
Yeah, my links. Yeah, like I think we're gonna have some cool new announcements. We have lots of cool stuff coming up. We are exploring new titles. We're definitely buying our portfolio, and I think you're gonna see lots and lots of content that people love. And I think we're gonna step up our content production output by quite a lot next year. We're hiring more talented people going to help us produce some next level stuff. So just thanks for all the support. Thank you so much, guys, for inviting me. Absolute pleasure to be. And good luck with everything too. And have a fantastic Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever you guys celebrate. And I hope you have a fantastic day.
Reno, thank you for coming on, guys. Listen, if you made it to the end of the podcast, make sure to drop a like and subscribe, whether you're on Spotify, Apple, or YouTube. That's right, we're on all those sites for free. Thanks for making it to the end. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.